In the not-so-distant past, Russia was governed by the strict principles of communism. However, when Boris Yeltsin assumed the presidency in 1991, a profound shift began to shape the country's destiny. The embrace of capitalism brought about the liberation of prices and opened the floodgates to imported goods, transforming the economic landscape. Yet this transition was far from smooth sailing, marred by a toxic combination of corruption and incompetence. The consequences were dire. The Russian currency plunged in value, industrial output faltered, and unemployment rates soared. However, amid the chaos, a select group of shrewd individuals seized the opportunity to amass staggering fortunes. One such figure was Boris Berezovsky, born into a society marked by anti-Semitism, who defied the odds and rose to become one of Russia's billionaire oligarchs. As the country transitioned to capitalism, Boris seized the opportunity to amass immense wealth and power. His journey reflects the complexities of the era, where ambition and intelligence could propel individuals to extraordinary heights. Yet behind the facade of success lay a dark underbelly of corruption and manipulation, as Boris became entangled in the web of Russian politics and business. Boris' journey to immense wealth started with a clever strategy. Taking advantage of hyperinflation, he acquired cars on consignment with a small upfront payment and deferred the remaining cost. For instance, selling a car for $10,000 but receiving only $5,000 due to currency depreciation. By delaying payments and benefiting from currency depreciation, Boris amassed a fleet of cars worth much more than what he had paid. This ingenious loophole became the foundation of his growing fortune. Boris Berezovsky, a skilled businessman, adeptly navigated the changing landscape of Russia to his advantage. In 1994, he sat in his luxurious Mercedes, contemplating the endless possibilities ahead, symbolized by his extravagant timepiece. With considerable wealth already amassed, Boris knew his journey had only just begun. And then, in an instant, Boris' world was torn apart. Amidst the chaos and destruction, he frantically crawled through the wreckage, witnessing the lifeless body of his driver brutally beheaded. This calculated assassination attempt served as a haunting reminder that his ascent to power had made him a target. Unbeknownst to Boris, this assault was just the beginning, thrusting him into a dangerous world where his life was constantly at risk. In the dangerous era of Russia known as the Wild East, Boris miraculously survived a car explosion that claimed the lives of fellow businessmen. This chilling event served as a stark reminder of the ruthless nature of business dealings and the precariousness of his own life. Boris Berezovsky sought to transition from a wealthy businessman to a powerful figure in politics. He aimed to expand his influence and authority beyond the business realm, positioning himself as a formidable oligarch with significant power. Boris Berezovsky and the 7 bankers used their vast wealth and influence to support President Yeltsin's re-election campaign in Russia. Through financial backing, media manipulation, and strategic maneuvering, they played a significant role in securing Yeltsin's victory. However, their actions highlighted the power and influence of the oligarchs, exacerbating social and economic disparities within the country. Wealthy businessmen supported Yeltsin's re-election in exchange for rewards and influence. This arrangement allowed them to shape Russia's political landscape. The privatization of state-owned industries under Yeltsin's policies was marked by corruption, highlighting the flaws in the transition to capitalism. Russia's most valuable assets, including major industries, were sold at outrageously low prices to individuals with influential connections within the government. Among these privileged few were the 7 bankers, who seized the opportunity to acquire these vast enterprises for a fraction of their true value. During the privatization period, a group of wealthy individuals gained control over Russia's vital industries through bribery and corruption. They dominated sectors such as banking, oil and gas, mining, and the media. Boris Berezovsky, for instance, became the head of ORT and used it as a propaganda tool to support Yeltsin's regime. The alliance between oligarchs and politicians concentrated wealth and influence in the hands of a few, perpetuating crony capitalism and leaving the general population at a disadvantage. The involvement of the 7 bankers in Yeltsin's campaign transformed his chances of re-election. By injecting substantial funds and controlling media narratives, they helped secure his victory. However, this victory was marred by the excessive influence and manipulation of a privileged few, deepening societal divisions and favoring the elite at the expense of the struggling masses. The 7 bankers, led by Boris Berezovsky, acquired unprecedented power and control over Russia's political and economic landscape, thanks to their immense wealth and influence. The majority of the population struggled amidst the wealth disparity. Boris' encounter with Roman Abramovich, the billionaire owner of Chelsea Football Club, marked a significant turning point in our story, as their paths intertwined and set the stage for future developments. Roman Abramovich faced early tragedy with the loss of his parents, but displayed resilience and an entrepreneurial spirit. Starting with selling toys, he ventured into oil trading and transportation, building his success. During a yacht meeting with Boris Berezovsky, Abramovich proposed merging Sidneft with his existing business to create a dominant force in the global oil industry. With limited financial resources, he relied on Berezovsky's connections and influence to navigate the political landscape and bring his ambitious plan to fruition. Roman Abramovich relied on Boris Berezovsky's political influence and network to navigate the complex government approvals and regulations involved in acquiring Sidneft. While Abramovich had the expertise to run the business, he recognized the need for Boris' role in maintaining government support. President Yeltsin's privatization initiative presented an opportunity for Abramovich to acquire Sidneft from the Russian government at a significantly reduced price. Funds from Sidneft were funneled to Boris, often in cash-filled suitcases, ensuring their operations could continue without interference. Despite occasional disagreements, their partnership allowed them to operate successfully, despite the questionable nature of some financial transactions. Abramovich continued to funnel cash-filled suitcases to Boris Berezovsky, ensuring their dominance in the oil industry and fueling their opulent lifestyles. As the 1999 election approached, the oligarchs, including Berezovsky, backed Vladimir Putin as Yeltsin's successor, fearing the return of the Communist Party. With their resources and influence, they swayed the election in Putin's favor, believing it would solidify their hold on power and protect their interests. Putin's rise to power brought about a dramatic change for the oligarchs. He vowed to dismantle their influence and emphasize the need for a separation between business and politics. This stance resonated with the Russian public, which resented the oligarchs' power and lavish lifestyles. Putin's declaration signaled a new era in Russian politics, challenging the oligarchs' dominance and shifting the balance of power in the country. Putin offered the oligarchs the option to keep their wealth if they stayed out of politics. Abramovich accepted, while Berezovsky resisted and opposed Putin. The clash between Berezovsky and Putin represented the tension between the government and the oligarchs. Boris Berezovsky vehemently opposed Putin, using his television channel to criticize the president and challenge his policies. However, the Russian authorities targeted Boris in 2002, accusing him of money laundering and illegal business activities. Faced with the prospect of imprisonment, he fled to London. Unbeknownst to him, this marked the start of his downfall. Boris Berezovsky, while in exile in London, continued his opposition to Putin by funding projects aimed at undermining the Russian government. However, he faced setbacks as he was convicted of embezzlement, lost assets, and control over television channels like ORT, which had been his platform for spreading his messages, and his partnership with Roman Abramovich ended. Boris' resources dwindled, leaving him without a reliable source of income and diminishing his ability to challenge Putin effectively. As Boris continued to maintain an extravagant lifestyle in London, his finances rapidly dwindled. The lavish spending, coupled with exorbitant security expenses, such as a team of constant bodyguards, depleted his once vast fortune. To make matters worse, he faced the significant financial burden of a high-profile divorce settlement when his wife ended their marriage. These circumstances plunged Boris into a deep financial and personal crisis, significantly impacting his ability to continue his efforts against Putin's regime. Boris Berezovsky, facing financial decline and loss of respect, developed a plan to overcome his hardships, seek revenge at Abramovich, and regain his sense of importance. This idea would become a driving force in his pursuit of redemption and a return to his former stature. Boris Berezovsky initiated a monumental legal battle, accusing Roman Abramovich of coercion and demanding substantial compensation for the alleged undervalued sale of his ownership stake in the oil company. The lawsuit became a high-profile spectacle, captivating the media and the public with its immense stakes and a clash of two influential figures within the English court system. The legal battle between Boris Berezovsky and Roman Abramovich unfolded, with each side presenting contrasting narratives. Abramovich maintained that Boris had no ownership in the oil company and that no evidence could substantiate his claims. Throughout the 9-month trial, both men's past were scrutinized, revealing Abramovich's wealth accumulation through corrupt means and Berezovsky's involvement in manipulating elections and government affairs. The trial shed light on the dark underbelly of Russian business during the transition to capitalism, including the violence and criminal activities that plagued the era. The judge's verdict in the lawsuit was a devastating blow to Boris Berezovsky. The judge deemed him an unreliable and unconvincing witness, tarnishing his already damaged reputation. Boris' gamble on the public court case had not only failed to yield the desired financial outcome, but had also worsened his situation. He faced public humiliation and was burdened with Abramovich's hefty court fees, leaving him with a profound sense of loss and defeat. Boris had reached the lowest point in his life, with his reputation lost and his financial resources depleted. Boris Berezovsky's life ended tragically, with his death shrouded in mystery and speculation. While reports suggested that his demise was a result of suicide, questions lingered regarding the circumstances surrounding his death. Some wondered if it was orchestrated by his adversaries, while others saw it as a tragic consequence of a man who had experienced extreme highs and lows in his life. The exact verdict remained uncertain, leaving an air of intrigue surrounding the final chapter of Boris Berezovsky's tumultuous journey. Oligarchs, those immensely wealthy individuals manipulating the political landscape from behind closed doors, may seem exclusive to Russia. However, the truth is that the only distinction lies in the name given to them. Money and politics, unfortunately, remain entwined across nations, transcending borders. No matter where you find yourself watching this, the term oligarch may not be in common use, but the intricate connection between money and politics is an enduring reality. Whether it's the tales of ambitious oligarchs or the intertwining of money and influence, subscribing will ensure that you never miss a moment of captivating storytelling. If you find yourself captivated by these intriguing stories, filled with twists and turns that delve into the world of power, wealth, and politics, you'll gain access to a wealth of knowledge, fascinating tales, and thought-provoking insights here.